welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matteo Rossi. Tonight, writer, director, producer, and all-around good night, or good guy rather, Matteo Rossi is Crashing Game Night.
How you
We
guys
are
doing?
joined by the Beanied One, as always, our wannabe Nick Cage, Gerard Barrera.
How is everybody? Welcome to the cage. I'm just kidding. What's up, nerds?
We're
How's
also joined in by the Babyface.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And lastly, the owner of the couch,
the lion's mane.
the lion's mane, Jason.
How's it going, guys? How's it going tonight? Michael, welcome to the couch as always.
Thank you.
Our other guest.
Welcome
to
welcome.
the couch.
Take a load off.
Yeah, relax, sit back,
Appreciate it. It's good to be here, guys.
Yeah,
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a little while. So for our fans out there, Michael and I have been talking about doing this for a year now, actually.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of COVID, and honestly, having to attend to other issues outside that, it couldn't make it happen. So we've been very, very patient, especially now that Michael has actually been able to get back to work, which is really nice to see for you. So, So how's the past year been treating you?
It's funny. I kind of think about the last weekend before things really started to shut down in around mid-March of last year. And I remember I was in downtown LA with a friend, went out to this Italian restaurant, went out to this kind of Grand Central Market. Again, so many people out, everything. And then, like you guys know, things just, boom, shut down. And I don't think any of us really anticipated it going as long as it is, and it's still going. But I just tried to make the most of it, Matt, as you know, back in July of last year, I actually shot a feature film, basically a kind of contained feature film called The Handler, an action film. I kind of throwback or send off or something to 80s, 90s action films.
Yes.
And with Commando, the one-liners.
Yes,
please.
Stuff like that. Little bit mixed with Die Hard as well, about kind of one man taking down a lot of people. And it was awesome. We shot the whole thing in 9 days in total, 9 shooting days, and it's a feature.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And again, it was a situation where we were very transparent, where I guess the numbers weren't as bad over the summer as they are, unfortunately, now. Hopefully they'll get better soon. But basically, I grabbed a lot of colleagues and friends that I knew were gung-ho to do this. And it went well. No one got sick. Everything was cool, which is good. And we're in post-production. Yeah, we're picture locked on it. And right now, we're getting the sound mix, sound design, and we're about halfway through the score, which is pretty
awesome.
cool.
So your 9-day shooting days.
Yeah.
How long were those days? Because I'm assuming those are pretty long. Those were pretty long.
You know what? To be honest, we didn't do this film, or we did this film non-union as opposed to SAG, just because, again,
obviously,
I mean, the regulations.
Hence the 9 days.
Exactly. So. But to be honest with you, we shot on multiple cameras, which helped kind of cut or make us more efficient. But
true, especially that says a lot about you, because that means you know what every camera is doing, even just to save time, because time's a factor on that, especially with a 9-day shoot. That's insane.
And there was so much fighting. Literally, there's so many fight scenes in it. We actually have an 8-minute.
Sounds like a lot of prep. Yeah.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
We have an 8-minute fight scene in the film, like literally pretty much nonstop, going through multiple rooms in the house, all of that. Yeah, it's insane. Our fight choreographer was actually the fight choreographer on Taken 2.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he worked with Liam Neeson. He worked on all of that. And for about a month and a half before filming, he and the lead actor, Chris Levine, who's awesome, we would train. We would train like crazy. The gyms were open at that time, and then halfway through they closed, so we had to go into a park to train. And it was just awesome watching these guys train and just kind of get into it. And we needed it, you know. So I had my shot list. I was very organized with it, and you know, we made it happen, thankfully. And we had a drone.
Did you have a lot of locations each day, or did you try and keep it simple and had a few locations?
That's why it was short. We did not have to do basically any company moves during each day, because we were shooting at this one pretty big house, a lot of outdoor stuff. We could sheet it. You know, hold on, give me one sec, guys. Give me one sec. One second.
You're perfectly fine. While Michael's taking care of that, I just want to thank Purple Mystic for gifting a sub to Grim Jekyll, who has now in turn gifted it to the community, which we have Ander Eulafifi in there that he's been gifted with a sub. So thank you very much for that. So anyways, back to you, Michael. While you're
sorry
that you're back.
That.
No, you're fine. That. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, it was one big kind of mansion type location, and it was awesome. And actually, I don't know if you guys would think this is kind of weird, or just how it happened was it was actually the house of my my mentor, who his name's Robert Mintz. He was an awesome guy. He passed earlier last year. He was about 90, and he wrote some of the original Batman from the 60s. Those Adam West Batman,
no way.
Crack, all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
He knew Marilyn Monroe back in the early 60s. Like, this dude's like old Hollywood. His dad was actually a silent film actor in the 1910s and 20s. So this guy's like old Hollywood, had stories like crazy.
Grew up.
Basically,
Yeah,
awesome guy. He unfortunately passed early last year, and basically his caretaker, who I knew too, was there, and we talked about it. And you know, I was able to, and I dedicating this film as well in his memory. And so there was that situation.
Oh, that's
but
cool. So
again,
you got to shoot in his house then.
Yeah.
That's great.
But there was nobody there as well, which gave us a lot of freedom. Again, got permission, the whole bit. But that also made it easier. It didn't have any cranky owners saying, "Hey, what are you doing here? What are you moving there?"
God.
The whole bit. So that's, I think, all of the reason why we were able to finish it in 9 days.
Oh, that's good to know. I got to tell you, I've been on some of the worst shoots where we've had 4 location moves, because we were that indie as well. So it's those are brutal.
It can be so stressful, and the irony is, even though we were shooting in the middle of a pandemic, that it was actually one of the most smooth shoots that I've ever done.
That's
like,
right.
Just
great.
No drama, no ego. Everybody just kind of doing their thing, pulling their weight, and it was just great. It was great positivity, because believe me, I have had my my Apocalypse Now type film set. I had about 5 years ago. That made me kind of, I'm not one to try to drop too many names on what it is. A lot of my close colleagues know which film it was that was horrendous, but basically it was a situation where you know, everything snowballed in the worst ways, and people didn't respect the hierarchy of director, producer, blah blah, and what have you. You know, after that, I kind of had to take about a month off, mentally detox, and build a kind of a better team. And it's the same team that I basically am working with to this day. So I guess from bad things, some good stuff can come of it.
Brings clarity. Yeah,
definitely.
So
sorry, man, go ahead.
While you kind of touched on some things that I was going to kind of start bringing up there for you, because some of those names that you've worked with, right? So let's look at your career. I mean, you kind of looked at, really started 2007 with short films, but then you've had 19, 20 directed projects now,
give or take.
Yeah. And let's look at your highlights on who you've actually worked with. And this is kind of impressive. I mean, this is kind of a nice little list here. So
thank you.
With You had Misogynist, which you
Yeah.
had Tracy Bergman, who was in Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, Days of Our Lives. She very well known on the soap scene. You did Sable with Isla Kell, who was in Make It or Break It. You know, Chris Petrovsky, who played Dmitry Petrograd on Madam Secretary. You've got Chase, you had Richard Rail, who was in Office Space.
Awesome guy, by the way. Nicest guy you ever met.
Jessica Morris, who is in One Life to Live.
Yeah.
Another bigger name in the soap industry. Devani Pinn was also in that. Shadows, which you know, you just got done. That was your film right before The Handler.
Correct.
You had Krista Allen, who, for those that don't recognize that name, she was in Days of Our Lives. She was Anger Management. She was in the Emmanuel series.
And she was also in Liar Liar as well. In a kind of, yeah.
You had Francis Capra, who was in Kazaa, Veronica Mars, and Heroes. You've got Vernon Wells, who was in Commando, Weird Science, Mad Max 2. And this is more impressive, which this ties right into even gaming itself, is that it was scored by Grant Kirkhope, who, for those that don't recognize that name, you will absolutely recognize the soundtracks. So Grant did the soundtrack for GoldenEye.
Oh, wow.
Banjo,
we're talking
Perfect Dark.
Banjo, Viva Pinata, Mario and Rabbids, Ukulele. Right? So those are just games that everybody knows. Those games, like for me, GoldenEye on the N64. There's so many game days that I used to play with friends, and we'd sit there and have just multiplayer games after multiplayer games.
One of the best multiplayer games. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we used to do remote mines. And we used to be able to, we figured out the trick where you can throw them and blow them up instantaneously. Slappers,
exactly. You put them in the hallways on each side and just totally And I'll say something else. Before, Grant is actually scoring The Handler as well. So we scored Shadows and he's scoring The Handler too.
That's
as we speak.
Fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, we look at everything too. And I mean, you and I have been following each other for a while now on Twitter too. And
long time.
And I want to say this is like the other thing that is great about you is that you are all about helping out actors. You know, you're always here and there. You're tweeting out these tips, different things here and there, and
thank you
and whatnot, and positivity too. It's always even if there's like something kind of in a negative feeling that you're feeling at the moment, you're always putting a positive spin on it. Which honestly is refreshing to see on Twitter in this day and age, because there's so much toxicity, not only on Twitter, but other social media platforms. So that I think is fantastic that you do that. And that's one of the reasons, like, I follow you anyways. I mean, it didn't matter that you were a director or anything like that. It's just like the way you are and the conduct yourself is great. And one person I would like, you know, I like being part of our community and stuff like that. So,
and I also have to say that's also spent working in the industry as well for a while. That's a very rare quality, and I really commend you for that, because
thank you.
You know, it seems it may have been just the time where, you know, where I was working with like maybe some more old school directors, but that was very unheard of. So I mean,
yeah, the fact is, can I swear on this stream, by the way, or no?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like a game night with friends and family. We're good.
No, come on, man. You got to relax on the couch.
Look, the fact is, I mean, there are a lot of assholes in this business. There are. We've worked with them. We know some. We have to put up with some. All of that. And if I can be one less person like that, I'm all about it. You know, there were a few even on my last films that these people, they came on every day and they were so miserable. They were so freaking miserable. It's like, dude, we're not going into the fucking trenches here. Okay. Like, it's a good thing. We're pulling 8-10 hour days. You know, it's not that bad. And I just try to manifest. Right. And I just try to manifest more of this just positive energy where, of course I have shitty days. Yesterday, Matt, if you saw anything, I mean, I basically spent most of the day tweeting like how shocked and horrified and like, what the hell is going on, and all of that type of stuff. And I mean, there was no real way to make a positive spin about it. I think I said something like, look, let's still stay hopeful. There's better days to come. Yeah. But besides that, I'm just like,
I don't think there was anything.
And
how could we have comprehended that? It's insane. That was us. That was
that's what I tweeted. I said, you know, it's madness. Like, we've never seen something like this, but at the same time, we almost shouldn't be surprised. What happens is, I mean, you guys know this. We're all on social media. When you have a massive platform, you can influence people more than at any time we have. I mean, think about if Hitler had a Twitter or that was around or something like that. He could have maybe globally mobilized something that the likes of which we'd maybe never seen. So, but I do feel, not to go on a tangent, I feel like these damn social media big companies bear a responsibility for some of the violence and fucked up shit. It's like, oh, after the fact, I'm going to do this. After the fact, I'm going to do that. No, come on. You had all this freaking time. You know, you should have done something. All right. There's almost too much power.
And to your point, right?
You know,
Facebook has fought tooth and nail not to pull down any of the rhetoric.
Yeah.
And now they've indefinitely suspended his account because they don't want anything happening the next 2 weeks. I'm like, guys, we're already to the point of no return.
It's already fucked. I mean, we'll see what happens, but the damage is done. And then you have these people that like Zuckerberg, like all of that, where they need to own up to it. They need to own up to the faults and more than that.
I mean, just look at his entire presidency. He's been stewing the pot. This has been a long time coming. It was only a matter of time before he just blurted out. I mean, look at people almost put bleach in them during the beginning of the coronavirus because he said maybe bleach will work.
It's right. I mean, again, words matter on everything, and it's crazy. And even for me, Matt, you kind of know, I usually just post, again, positive stuff or film stuff.
Right.
I actually don't get really political. I don't get, very kind of current events. But yesterday kind of prompted me to say, look, we're human beings at the end of the day. You see those images, you see what's going on, you see how unprecedented this is. And I mean, this following pattern, it's just like, come on, like, if you have a fucking brain cell, recognize that this is outrageous. That we've never seen something like this before.
So ever. To that point, right, this is the first time the Capitol building has been breached since August of 1814 during the War of 1812 by the British, right?
The War of 1812.
War of 1812. So it took 106 years to get to that, right? And for our listeners,
we still broke down our own doors.
And to listeners, right, that are around the world that listen to us and follow us, right, and you guys are looking on this, and I understand the magnitude of this, right, is because the Capitol building, the White House, right, is a beacon of democracy for the entire world, right, and we have world leaders like President Macron from France coming out and saying this is not the American democracy that we know it's better. But when you see these images, right, you see the Nazi flag being carried through, the Confederate flag. You have the U.S. flag being pulled down and a Trump flag being put up. You have them going directly to Pelosi's office to grab stuff. You see people carrying out the podium.
And I 100, well, not actually 100%, but I completely don't understand what the fuck the cops or the police were doing or some shit like that. That is insane how that happened.
I was actually just gonna ask you guys, can you please compare the footage from that to just any Black Lives Matter?
And that is the big rhetoric, right? I mean, that's a big talk right now.
Split screens. We're all the cops. Exactly.
It's insane, and they bear. I mean, I think that I heard like the captain of the police station or there resigned. He almost needs to be held more accountable than that.
So it has come out that they did request the National Guard, and it was denied twice.
Why?
Nobody knows exactly why, but they went to the Defense Department first, and they said no. So it was Mike Pence who was the one that authorized it. I want to say, to me, yes, I'm getting ready to move to Arizona, but I'm proud of our governor here in Virginia because he didn't hesitate. He mobilized the National Guard and said, go.
Which is good, which is very good.
And I think the thing is this was, and let's say it for what it is, let's call a spade a spade. It was an insurrection. Because there are pictures of guys in tactical gear, in baklavas, carrying around zip tie handcuffs. They were going to take hostages, and that's why. And I want to say a huge props and a way to go to the 4 women that are Senate employees that saved the electoral votes. On the evacuation, they had presence of mind to grab the ballot boxes.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you, it was 4 women that got him out. And honestly, think about this, right? We know Captain Orange is all about imagery and controlling images and the conversation. Could you imagine if those ballot boxes got into the hands of those terrorists?
Oh my God.
And they would have burned them right then and there on social media for the world to see. So ultimately it's really weird because we have movies that are made about stuff like this, right? White House,
White House Down or something.
White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen, right?
Yeah.
And about the White House being taken in such a manner. And it's like, well, we don't ever expect to see this on U.S. soil, right?
No,
it's like
we don't ever expect it to be just true
because it's an action movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and it came true.
Oh, dude!
But by its own people.
Yeah,
it's insane. That's just insane.
And it is going to be a date that all of us are really going to remember and see. And I really do feel like a lot of the people that were not only directly responsible, but the people that were just stalling the process, doing all that bullshit when they knew it wasn't going to do anything, they're going to pay a big price. They're the enabling and all of that. And again, it's just like with the people that supported Hitler or the like all of that stuff. I know I shouldn't do that comparison, but at the same time, for people who propped up or with all these fucked up situations, they do get remembered. History remembers. It's put on history books. It's names. Where were you? What did you do? Everything. And it's insane. Like, and I these type of situations, you're right. To make a film about like a break-in like this would be cool, but it's film. It's my escape. I like to do crazy shit like that.
People were making memes that had like Nicolas Cage, right, going, there's someone in DC that's looking to steal the Declaration of Independence, right? And somebody photoshopped him taking the Declaration of Independence in with the crowd. And it was like, to me, I laugh at that, right? But ultimately it's that, and there's that Animaniacs video that someone photoshopped that girl getting maced into, and it was great. But ultimately, though, people are making a joke about this, and they have to understand how serious this actually really is.
We've become desensitized by some of it because we're starting to not be shocked as much with the crazy things that are going on in our country, and we shouldn't be. Like, I mean, there's so many levels. Yeah, this one was like really fucked up, but there's patterns. And we can't become completely immune to that, because then who the hell are we? Are we just like apathetic to just any really fucked up shit? Oh, okay, it's another day. It's just Tuesday. Whatever.
I feel you, Mike, because like, I mean, like earlier I was watching and I was watching it yesterday, and I was just like, I'm just like, all right, when's the tear gas? And it's like,
right.
And they're just like, here you go.
When's the rubber bullets coming out? It's like,
Right.
okay, like just like, all right, it's like a police
the other
chase,
thing,
you know?
The other thing that first went through my mind, especially seeing that dickhead running with the podium.
Oh yeah,
like
smiling,
smiling, like, hey,
he
look
tried.
at, like, honestly,
he tried to sell it on. He tried to sell it on eBay.
I honestly, like, there's footage. There's honestly clear footage of these people. I want to see arrests.
They are.
Yeah.
The FBI is already doing it.
Okay, that's great.
Finally,
great, because if honestly, if they weren't, that would be.
There's going to be
the one that
Civil
was
War,
like,
man.
Yeah, the one that was in Pelosi's office with his
sitting in the chair,
up, and then he comes out and he's giving like a fucking interview, boasting about it. Saying, hey, this is my desk. This is all that. Like, how the hell was he not arrested right then? I don't get it. I don't. It makes no sense. And then there was other shit where, like, somebody was taking a selfie with one of the cops. One of the cops was like helping one of the protesters down the stairs or some shit like that. Like, come on now. Like, that's just.
And that's insane. The thing is, in like, and that's the big problem, right? We have, and that's why, you know, for me, I was fully supportive of Black Lives Matter, because there was the peaceful protesters, which were pretty much the bulk of everything.
Right.
You had the instigators that were starting everything. They were tear gas. They were, I mean, every tactic used, in some cases, stuff that's, you know, illegal in the theater of war by the Geneva Convention. You know, but then you see this, right? And they're just hanging out, letting them do things. You know, let's take the speaker's podium. You're going to just let them out. No, you needed to step up. And I think it's because a lot of them, I hate to say it, he has empowered a lot of this. He's empowered the racism to come out, the white supremacists to come out of hiding. And frankly, yes, was there people of color? Yes, there was. But the bulk of this was white supremacists.
Yeah,
there's actually there's very few, but
I was like, were there? I was
like, totally. There was a guy with like this Camp Auschwitz shirt on, man, and it's fucking sick. It's sick, and I'm just hoping for better days. I'm hoping for I don't know, calm.
Well, right now, news. I mean, the latest news right now is there is 112 representatives in the House that have all signed on to the impeachment proposition. That's being they are.
They're going for it.
Rumor is that Nadler, who is the head of the Judiciary Committee, has already said, "Don't even bring it to us. Go straight to the floor." He said it needs to go.
Wow.
So if somebody gets impeached twice, and pardon my ignorance for that, like, is that like does that hold even more repercussions or like consequences? Or
he's been impeached once.
Right.
You know, he can't pardon himself if he's found guilty by the Senate. So that was built into the Constitution that yes, the president has the power to pardon, but he can't in the case of being impeached.
Right.
So I think doesn't that negate like all of the other things he was trying to get passed, or the pardons he was trying to get passed?
No, the pardons would still, everything up until the point he's impeached and removed is still in play.
Okay.
But that's the thing is I think at this point though we have to, because he's already talking about a run in 2024. We as a nation, and I don't care if you're a Democrat, you're an independent, or you're a Republican. And yes, I absolutely understand there is a difference between a Republican and a Trumplican. There's a absolute difference.
Right.
And you have to stand up. We have to defend this country, because if we allow this to happen again, you know, next time it may not be after the election, it may be before the election.
And it really does show so much of the hypocrisy and the flip-flopping of some of these politicians that you know, at the fucking 11th hour I'm going to resign, at the 11th hour I'm going to acknowledge this or that or something like that.
Yeah. Mitch McConnell's wife.
That's right. I mean, it's just this is why I escape into film sometimes, because unfortunately where we're at in the real world has a lot of beautiful things and some great things about it and good people.
Mhm.
But man, there's that other side. There's that other side that's just
Man. I've been rewatching
Oh.
Star Wars, the entire saga,
Yeah.
start to finish, and man, it
Yeah.
is eerie how the events of the last couple of days have mirrored.
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of
no,
that
I saw the
writing.
video. I mean,
Oh, dude,
you know,
like,
You know, call it what it
There's-
is. He's
Yeah,
Palpatine.
no, I mean, like, I'm just like
denigrate the
literally
media.
just watching Wonder Woman 84, like really before we started this, and I paused it. I started laughing because there's a scene in there where they're all in front of the White House building, and it's like, oh man, like
It was just good timing.
Is
Yeah, it was good timing.
this for real? Like, am I watching CNN right now? Like, wait, hold on.
So let's talk about happier times. So let's
Sure,
we get it. We need to get off
That's
this
what I
stress,
want.
right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
have some joy. So one of the things I want to ask you is what really
Sure.
was your inspiration to get into the film industry?
That's a very good question. When I was a kid, my dad would show me a lot of classic films like Hitchcock films and also like the original Twilight series or Twilight Zone, show. And I mean, I love them. I love the suspense of it. I love the twists of it. I loved all of that. And I just started writing little short stories, all of that, wrote in junior high, high school, all of that. And then it wasn't until San Diego State, where I went to college, that I told myself, look, let me just try to get a few people that I know and let's just shoot something. Let's shoot one of my stories. And I did, and I loved the process. I loved the collaboration. I loved all of that. And I kind of never looked back. I just was like, this is this cements that I love it. There's something about it, and I know it might sound cliche, but you're taking what's on that paper and you're creating the world and for people to see. And I love the medium of film and everything. So I did know very early on that's what I wanted to do. And it's funny, I made my first short film January 6th, 2007.
Hey,
So
happy
14
anniversary to
years
that.
ago. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I had to yesterday.
Is that really a good anniversary?
Right.
Yesterday to
but I remember that, and it was just and it's crazy to think because 2007 doesn't seem that long ago, but at the same time, like, what was it?
Yeah.
MySpace was the shit. We had no Instagram, Twitter,
Facebook was just coming out then.
That, no smartphones, like the whole bit. It seems almost like another lifetime ago.
YouTube was generations like slow and like
exactly.
But it was
we were also using
thing.
we were also using LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire. Napster. Remember Napster?
Right.
Yep.
Oh man.
So we've come a long way. I mean, we've come a long way even in 10 years or something like that. So no, I mean it's been quite a journey, and I just want to keep stepping up that ladder and see where it takes me and the people I work with and all of that, Yeah.
So
I also totally get what you mean, because I feel the exact same way when I kind of stumbled into film when I finally got to get in. But the one thing I do want to say is, like, when you refer back when you said working with those toxic people.
Yeah.
I never understood that, because the one thing I know I had every day, no matter how long our days or how complicated they were, I had a smile on my face because I was doing what I loved.
Exactly.
And it was so much fun. And I know you have that same passion too, where it doesn't matter as long as we all work together. And that's what was so fun on set, is that collaboration. I get it.
And I'm gonna, if it's cool, I'm gonna tell just a small story when it comes to that. I'll make it quick, and I'm not gonna name this person.
Yeah,
I'm not.
If we run longer than an hour, we run longer than an hour.
Yeah.
That's what game night's all about, man. This is like game night with friends and family. We all BS and tell stories and whatever, so we're good. You're absolutely fine.
So on that set, there was a crew member that about 5 months after we wrapped hit me up and said, "Hey, Mike, when are we all going to get our overtime pay? When are we going to get all that?" This is 5 months later. First of all, they were all paid in full. Nothing went overtime, nothing like that. And I just responded and I said, There's none. You guys were all paid, all of that. He comes back and says, I'm going to take you to the California Board of Labor, blah, blah, blah. Like this really like just going. And
There's
just,
always one.
Oh, totally. And I was just like, I'm like, dude, if you want to waste your time and do that, go for it. Be my guest. Because the only thing that he's doing with that is wasting his time and burning already a big fat bridge with me. You want to know what happened? About 6 months after that, he sends me a long text saying, hey, Mike, I know what I did was messed up. I'm so sorry. All of that type of stuff. Like basically like acknowledging and realizing that he had fucked up. And in most cases, I'm forgiving about that type of stuff. But in this case, because it was so toxic and he knew how bad of an experience it is, and yet he had the gall to threaten me that way, I just didn't respond. I didn't say go fuck yourself. I just didn't respond. I just let it be. But there you go. That's just one situation where, you know, like, why do that? Why do that? That's like, maybe this isn't the best comparison, but it's like those viral videos of those Karens or something being like, oh, I'm gonna call the cops. You're you know, on this lawn, or you're taking your dog out in the wrong thing. It's like, dude, you know, this is gonna bite you in the ass. You sure you want to do that? So that was just one little thing, you know.
So Jerry, I don't know if you're paying attention to chat.
No, I didn't see it.
Newman has said Napster equals Jerry when he takes off his beanie.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Oh, I do see this. Equals Jerry. Very funny. That was a good one.
But Newman does bring up a really good point that, you know, it just like what you were talking about, though, it just shows it's better to be nice to everyone. You never know when it circles back around.
Right.
But also sometimes, you know, what really helps? Those situations really do kind of help, because those wean out the people that you don't want on your team.
Yes.
Like you said, that was the same thing I was going through with the producers I work with. You know, when you have a solid team, you want them on every job. So when you miss them and take recommendations, that always like, are you
and
sure?
Especially, totally. And to burn bridges with somebody that you know consistently does work and works with a lot of people again and again. And I'm not even talking myself up. I'm just speaking in generality. Why do that? That's not
every director or producer I knew, I always tried to keep good relations. Like, hey, next project, like, think about me. You know, I'm free.
Totally.
You know, but those are dumb moves.
I'll say one other thing. I mean, and Matt, you kind of know this about me a little bit. I'm a pretty approachable person. If you message me or reach out to me and it's kind of genuine and whatever, I will definitely reach back out. There was an actor when I was posting about prepping for The Handler that had followed me a while on Twitter. Awesome person named Natalie, and she reached out and said, "Hey, Mike, let me know if you need any other roles and all of that." And I do get that a lot, but she knew it was a fight movie, and she's actually a former Marine, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's badass. Natalie Birdsong. She's great. And you know, I reached back out to her and she's actually in the film. So again, never underestimate the value of just coming just genuinely and just, you know, nicely and respectfully. And it's a good look for a lot of people, and that's just what I think, you know.
And this thing is, but I think unfortunately though, I think the last 4 years have helped bring out more of that toxicity though.
Yeah.
You know, where people feel more emboldened to do that.
Do you also feel like it's on the other side of the spectrum, that it's also kind of weaned out? Like, I think people are trying to be more perceptive, like, is this more of a genuine person? Instead of, I think on the other spectrum, people are trying to find like more genuine people to work with, and trying to wean out the toxic people that are obviously feeling more entitled nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you guys know, being on set is like a miracle anytime you can do it, because there's 1,000 reasons why a film will fold or not happen and all of that. So just being on set is like a damn blessing.
Something about it, though. It's just like every day when you walk to set or your
amazing.
location every morning. Yeah, man, I loved it.
It's
every
great.
day,
You got
every day.
crafty, you got all that. I mean, it's just it's awesome, and especially if you're doing a film that you believe in or are passionate about, like it's great. Like even for The Handler, this was the film where I used the most. We use these dust balls, which are kind of little paintball type things where when they hit a wall, it explodes with dust, so it looks like real bullets hitting the wall.
Oh,
And
cool.
we use that.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
cool.
no, it's awesome. And so we use that in this film, and it was just so awesome to see that go. We had my one buddy who is very experienced. You actually do shoot it off of a paintball gun, and basically the main actor will be, say, shooting at one way. The guy with the paintball gun will kind of be behind the camera or something and shooting at that same direction, so it really looks seamless, like it's there, and it looks awesome. So like those type of things, just seeing that play out, like that's just one example of like, dude, who the fuck wouldn't want to see that?
Nice.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
So
yeah,
I want to ask here, so with you being in the industry and stuff, and you're more on the independent side and stuff like that, is when you see what HBO Max is doing with their deal now, that they're going to do same day and time as you know, streaming it as it's in theaters. How does that make you feel from a director standpoint, that they're trying to split more the audience? I get it, we're in a time of COVID, right? But it's more like they're trying to kind of go, hey, let's go to the streaming service and take away maybe some of that opportunity to really experience the picture in the theaters.
I understand why they would do it. I am a bit old school, and I think that with some of the most amazing films, like, you got to see them in the theaters, even if it's a re-release or something like that. There's something about going to the theater, seeing it on the big screen, it being a real shared collective experience where you're hearing other people react to the great moments, all of that. I remember as a kid, I believe it was in 97, they did a Star Wars re-release, if you guys know. And I remember
I camped out in front of our theater.
Really?
in the time I went to school. Yep.
Yeah. I remember seeing A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi in the theaters like that, and I could, you know, and it was like night and day. It was crazy. And I remember even seeing The Matrix in the theaters, Gladiator in the theaters, like all of that. And I get it. I just really, really, really hope that we don't just completely shift to nothing but streaming, and we don't get back to any, like, let's go to the theaters, let's do anything like that. That would suck.
Totally
and
agree.
I'll say probably the thing that I miss most because of this pandemic is going to film festivals. And, you know, for my film Chase that you mentioned, it was at the Hollywood Real Film Festival in downtown LA, ArcLight Cinema. And I remember it was my crew, a lot of my friends, all that, we were there. And then there was the red carpet event, all of that stuff that I do miss. And because there's something awesome about it. You get to talk to people right after, you get to hear their kind of responses towards whatever. That's just, I will miss that. So I really hope we still obviously have theaters.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's an experience, and it's a fun experience, especially if you're just a movie goer. Like that's the thing. You go to the movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or if you're like looking forward to like the series of whatever. I mean, for the longest time, me and Jerry every year would go to the midnight Harry Potters when it was coming out. And I was like, yo, man, like, it's like that little nerdiness, or like that little like inkling of whatever it is.
It springs those kind of traditions, especially you know.
And to that point, like to segue into the next question I was going to have for you, because you kind of brought it up, is that how do you feel when you see that, you know, Regal is actually permanently closing theaters, that AMC says they have enough cash to get through Q1, and then they're in serious trouble?
Right.
So when you see that, how do you see that as far as the long-term health for the movie industry?
It is. I mean, I think that studios are taking notice that, I mean, streaming maybe is the way to go with some of these things, but it does sadden me because again, I'm a product of the 90s and all of that. And even I remember seeing The Lion King at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I remember seeing it. Actually, I'll go one thing more. I remember I was really young, but I remember seeing Aladdin at the El Capitan Theaters in '92.
Damn.
I would have loved to go.
That's
no,
impressive.
We
Yeah.
ended up going to see what was it, Jurassic World at the Chinese Man,
Yeah, it's Jurassic
Oh
World.
yeah, no,
and it's like the history.
Oh yeah, man.
history just so it does sadden me a bit. I feel, I mean, look, a lot of things across the board are closing. There's this kind of famous cafe called Cafe 101 or Hollywood Cafe that's closed permanently, and again, a lot of restaurants are, but yeah, I mean, it's I'm worried about that, and I just hope that we do bounce back. You can call me an optimist, but I'm really, really hoping that by, I don't know, summer, something like that, maybe late spring, there's downward trends in cases, deaths, all of that type of shit, and we can get back to some degree of normal. Again, I'm an optimist. Who knows? But I just, if we're gonna be like this for like another year or two, I think people are going to go out of their fucking mind. I really do. I mean, I really do. Like even the most introverted of us, like
Me.
it's gonna I don't know. I just hopefully it gets better. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I'm thinking at least summer as well.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying they're targeting June now as when the general population should be able to start getting the vaccine in terms of timelines. I think after first line, after the first or the frontline workers and the elderly, I think the next step is the kids, so they can start getting everyone back into school and stuff, and then the general public after that. So I mean, absolutely, we got to get back to it.
If that's the case, and then maybe by fall, maybe September, something like that, we are kind of back to maybe where we were. Yeah, I can live with that. I mean, I guess I got to live with whatever timeline it is, but I mean, like we just with anything, we're programmed almost to be like, okay, here's a deadline, here's something to look forward to, or here's something in the kind of not knowing makes it even worse. If somebody said, all right, September 15th, that's when you have to do it. Yeah, that feels like a long freaking time, but it's like, okay, awesome. Like, I guess I can deal with it. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but I can deal with it. So, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see,
All right, so let's do a fun one. What's your top 5 movies of all time?
That's so you hit me with
that's the hardest question ever. Like you even made it a full 5. It's so much.
Especially someone in film. That's so hard for me too. I can't, like, you have to give me genres.
All right. Do you want
like stuff like that? But
do you want my like pretentious, pompous top 5, or like my kind of like my real like, all right, popcorn entertainment, enjoying top 5? Because top 5's tough.
Yeah, see, like I always think of it as like top 5 that you've watched like multiple times. Like you never get tired
don't get tired of.
Like the ones that you put on. Like the ones you put on while you're writing, but it's still your favorite all-time movie.
Okay, if that's the case, the 3 Indiana Jones films, original ones, I like.
Okay, good.
I even don't mind Temple of Doom. I know it's not at the same par as last.
Oh no, I love Temple of Doom, bro. No judgment here.
Fucking amazing.
It's awesome.
Goodfellas, Casino, of course, those 2 freaking incredible. But again, Die Hard, Scarface, Heat, Carlito's Way.
All right, let's ask the question: is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
It is. I think so. I think Gremlins is a Christmas movie. I think the first.
I think Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, Gremlins absolutely is a Christmas movie.
And that I loved as a kid and everything. So yes, I do think that Die Hard is, and I think Die Hard's insanely influential to the action genre. And I also think that Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber is one of the freaking greatest villains there is. I don't know. I think he just kills it in it. But but no. But in terms of pompous, if you want me to hit you with some like pompous or like the classic films, I love The Seven Samurai. If any of you guys know it, the Kurosawa film, The Seven Samurai. Yep. Beautiful film. Obviously Hitchcock, big fan of, Vertigo, Psycho, Rear Window, those type of things. I do like some films by Fellini, like La Dolce Vita and 8.5 and all that. Things like that. I'm a big fan of 70s films like The French Connection, Godfather, Deer Hunter, all of that type of stuff, Annie Hall. So really, and I do like, again, a lot of foreign films too. Serpico's freaking great. And again, I like some of the classic comedies too. You'd say this classic, like Airplane, of course, is great. Blazing Saddles, those type of Blues Brothers, all of that type of stuff. So and Pulp Fiction, Django. I like a lot of Christopher Nolan's films, of course, Fincher's films, Aronofsky's films. Those type of films are the
what is your all-time, regardless of genre, whatever it is, what's your number one favorite movie of all time?
To be honest with you, it probably is The Seven Samurai. I'll be honest with you. I think because of how epic and amazing the story is, it still stands up. Again, what was it, made in 1954? I love Kurosawa. I think he's incredible. Kubrick, of course, his films are up there for me.
Seven Samurai is still one of the like staples of what we still hold the look of like samurai today. It's one of the classic, or if not the classic, of what we see as samurai today.
There's a 60s film, an early 60s film called Harakiri. I think it was from 1962. I highly recommend seeing it. I think you can just look it up, 1962 Harakiri. And that is an incredible film too. I highly recommend it. I think they have it on Criterion, but it's pretty easy to get, but it's an amazing film. And just anything also by like that Daniel Day-Lewis acts in. I know he's sparse, but he's fucking incredible to watch. Like There Will Be Blood, Gangs of New York,
Last of the Mohicans,
In the Name of the Father, like even Lincoln, he kills it in it. Whatever you want to say about the films, like I'm an actor's director, so some of those actors that just go the extra yard that you're just mesmerized watching. I mean,
and you just stepped right into the next question. If you could have your dream cast, okay, you had no budget, you didn't have to worry about it, your dream cast, who would be your lead actor and your lead actress?
Are we including dead or alive?
That's a good question.
Yep, you can hop in the DeLorean and go get them. You can hop in the phone book.
Alive, because that's tough.
We'll do alive.
Yeah.
Well, if I had my dream cast, I know you just said leads, but I gotta do a couple others. I would probably say, this is in no order, and it's an ensemble film, so I have a big cast. Okay, so bear with me. De Niro, Pacino, Nicholson, Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis. Bear with me. Hold on. Kate Blanchett's awesome. Julianne Moore. Denzel Washington. Give me a second. Gene Hackman. I mean, I know I hit you with a lot, but all of those people, and then Dead would be a whole other story. But Dead would be,
what about someone like Lithgow? Since you're going in through all of
John
those.
Lithgow?
Yeah,
no, he's awesome. John Lithgow, underrated performance in Cliffhanger. He's actually really good in that film. If you remember Cliffhanger, with Stallone.
Here's mine that not a lot of people remember.
I love. He's so great. He's
awesome.
in Third Rock.
Yeah.
My God.
Yes.
Some of the best comedy
that's great.
during that time was from him.
Totally.
But
and then there's
for me, like Gary, like I would love Gary Oldman, John Malkovich.
Oh yeah. Gary Oldman, Harrison Ford. See, there's too many to think about.
Yeah, there's so many.
Like,
there's so many great people. Like, yeah, but I
Ford,
kind of feel like the people you went with first was like the staple of
the staple, but
who
but
you
then you
want
make
to
me
work
think,
with.
Totally. Like I love The Professional with John Reno. The Professional with Gary Oldman, who's fucking amazing. And I think I posted, Matt, like you probably saw.
That's actually the first movie I grew up watching. I grew up with Gary Oldman.
He's incredible, and I think
mesmerizing.
He probably delivers the best one-word delivery of anything. That everything, how he says it. You know, you guys have seen
everything.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Like you guys have seen the gifts.
Oh my God, man.
When we're talking about like John Lithgow, right, with Cliffhanger, right? A lot of people don't remember Raising Cain.
Yeah.
Where he's the psychologist that ends up going crazy.
You know, you're right. Actually, is another one. Yeah.
Yep. So I think
John Lithgow's performance in the Twilight Zone was the first performance I saw of him too.
The gremlin on the plane.
Yeah, on the plane. Yeah, that was the first time I saw John Lithgow, and then I saw Harry and the Hendersons. Yeah, it was.
So I'm curious, and for anybody too, what was the first movie you remember seeing in theaters?
It was Aladdin. Actually, Aladdin.
Batman.
Aladdin was the very, very first one.
Keaton. Batman.
Willow.
Oh, good one.
Willow.
Yeah. I got to see the year after we moved out to Colorado from New York. We went back to visit family, and my cousin took me down to the theater.
Yeah.
And we went and saw Willow. And we had gotten there a couple minutes late. I remember it was when the dogs, the hunting dogs, show up in the village.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were just showing up in the village and everything, but you know, to see Willow and the fact that we're getting a Willow series on Disney Plus.
Disney series,
and Warwick Davis is back as Willow, and it's going to be great. But that was my first one. But I think, you know,
oh man, mine was
the movies.
Keaton and Nicholson in Batman was just so epic.
So
awesome.
Let's kind of segue into that, Jerry, because you bring up Keaton, right?
Yeah.
Keaton will be the Batman going forward in the DCEU.
I heard about that. Now, is he going to be like the old version, or is he literally going to be like Batman, like Bruce Wayne? Because I think
he could do either.
Yeah,
he could do both. Like, I mean, Spider-Man proved it, you know, with the Vulture. But no, from what it looks like is they're potentially because this is the rumor side of it too, is that they're potentially setting up Batman Beyond.
So he is going to be like the older Batman, but I still feel like
I think they're setting him up to be
too little, too late. They should have made this move years ago.
He's I think turning 70 this year. I really do. I think he's that. Yeah. So I mean, he looks good for his age. He definitely looks good for his age. But
I mean,
but even like Far From Home was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Or Homecoming was a few years ago. So like,
yeah,
you know,
it's only getting older.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing, not to digress too much, but actually, and this is going to surprise you guys probably, one of the best theater experiences watching a superhero film was actually X-Men 2 in 2003. If you guys
that's
remember,
the best one.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm telling you.
The opening Nightcrawler scene in the theater, epic.
It was amazing.
Epic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And if you remember when the guys are invading the mansion to like take all the kids and like fucking, I remember
finally seeing Wolverine.
Wolverine's such a badass. He's getting shot and he's just taking them fucking off.
Yeah.
That was one of the best. I'm like, holy fucking shit. That was something. So that was
the best out of the three.
Yeah, it was.
I still think one of the best for me though, theater experience wise, would be the re-release of A New Hope.
Interesting.
in '97.
I went by myself to all of the re-releases or with something.
There was just something.
They were the best. Those are the best.
There was just something about those X-wings just diving in on the Death Star, seeing that on the big screen and hearing from the turbo laser cannons, just the firing of the lasers coming from every direction, and it just
getting the ground.
I think the only thing, and Jerry, you know me and being the nerd on this, but I think the only other thing that I think would have been great to see on the big screen would have been, for me, Top Gun, because when they brought out that extended trailer months ago, I gotta remember what we went and saw movie wise. I think it was before Joker? I think. It was a little while ago, but when they brought out the extended trailer, and all of a sudden you hear the gong right at the very beginning, and all of a sudden you hear the roar of the F-14 engines coming back to front, and you see it. To me, it's like, dude, can Top Gun 2 get here? It's, I can't wait for that, but that's because I'm an airplane junkie and I love, I can remember, as much as I love Star Wars, I used to play with all the toys in my living room to every single movie. I'd break out every single figure and everything. To me, I can remember watching the VHS release of Top Gun for the first time as a kid. And
I remember as a kid.
Ever since then, I've loved fighter jets. F-14 is, I've got die-cast models of the F-14 and whatnot. And
I posted about it today as well. And I know I do mention it a lot on my Twitter, but I think that one of the most complete, close to perfect films out there as well is Shawshank Redemption. I think,
which you were rewatching today, and
is it? Yeah, I was. I think that literally it's as close to a kind of perfect film, just in terms of everything, the acting, the cinematography, the fucking score is unreal. It's amazing. Little kind of anecdote. If you guys remember, the actor who plays Boggs, the guy who tries to rape Andy or does rape Andy, remember? And then he gets his ass beat by the guard. His name is Mark Ralston. I actually know him. I'm friends with him. And he was actually going to be in my film Shadows, but there was a last minute scheduling conflict. So he had read the script. So it was amazing. If you look this guy up, Mark Ralston, he actually also was in Aliens as well. He plays
he's one of the big
one of the guys, exactly.
I know exactly who you're talking about, man.
Vasquez.
He has a great career. He has a great career, dude. Rush Hour, and he's also The Departed. He's an awesome guy. He's very cool. And see, that's the thing, you mentioned about actors you want to work with and all of that. Even the fact that I'm corresponding and that he's reading my script is amazing. This guy's been directed by James Cameron, Frank Darabont. It's incredible. So that's kind of cool. But yes, I just wanted to say Shawshank Redemption is amazing. And I of course asked him about it, and I said, did you guys realize what you had on your hands when you guys were prepping it? And I think he said something to the effect of, we kind of knew, maybe we didn't know as much, but it's just so interesting. You look back at these films and did these filmmakers or actors realize that it was going to be as big as a classic? And God, you talk about years. 94 had some fucking incredible movies. In 1994, the movies that came out then. Anyways, so that's what I think. I love it. I could talk movies all day.
Yeah.
We're a whole bunch of nerds here.
All film nerds. Yeah.
So really quick, before we rolled on out of here, guys, tonight, a couple things gaming wise talk about really quick, since we kind of talked about, we touched on the N64 with GoldenEye and all of that. Nintendo has acquired Next Level Games to become a first party studio. Next Level Games was the makers of Super Mario Strikers on the GameCube, Mario Strikers Charged, Punch Out, Luigi's Mansion Dark Mansion, and Luigi's Mansion 3. So they're moving in-house, which Jerry, you and we were talking about this beforehand, and honestly, I was surprised they weren't already a first-party studio for Nintendo.
Yeah,
anyways,
kind of taking a move from Sony's book. I get it. That's a good move.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep them happy and keep them secure.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then, real quick for listeners, we've got it's January. New games are coming up for those freebies for games with gold and stuff like that. So, for the Xbox fans out there, you're getting Little Nightmares, Dead Rising, King of Fighters 13, and Breakdown.
All right, this isn't a bad lineup.
Yeah, this is actually
one of their better
start out
lineups.
the year.
Yeah,
this is a good lineup compared to what they've had the last 6 to 12 months.
It's actually not bad.
This
even though it's
really
still kind of bad.
No.
It's okay.
3 out of 4 is a C.
Yeah,
it's a passing grade, sir.
I would give it a B because Little Nightmares has gotten some really good reviews. We know what Dead Rising was and kind of what
and
it
it's
meant
the first Dead Rising. So I agree. It's a C.
And then for PlayStation Plus, you're getting The Crew 2, Surviving Mars, and Frostpunk. So I think honestly, this is more
D.
That's a lacking case for PlayStation.
This is not a good start for PlayStation's first month. It's okay,
No thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
like I said many times before. Actually, I've never said, but well played, Xbox. Well played.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't say it much. So
yeah, I don't say it. But the games, they speak for themselves. They do speak for themselves. So
yeah,
it was speaking about games real quick. Yeah, I mean, Grant, and guys, you can check out Grant Kirkhope. He actually has a pretty big presence on Twitter. He's been nominated for a BAFTA award, all of that. But this dude, doing all of those iconic games on N64, Banjo and Kazooie, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, all of that, and he's still scoring video games, and it's awesome. And he's a super down to earth guy. He literally is pretty well known in as one of the top video game composers out there, and now he's kind of doing he's segueing into film scoring too. But this guy has done a crap load of video game music, so I just think it's pretty cool. He's got a bit of a cult following with that too.
So you mentioned when we're talking about GoldenEye and all that, and you reference them. So do you do any gaming now?
That is a good question. Not as much as I should, to be honest.
It's tough for a director.
I know. I am very old school with the games. I grew up with the original Nintendo system with the fucking Duck Hunt or something.
Duck Hunt.
And then huge with freaking Sega Genesis, the first PlayStation, N64. Those were my things. I played them religiously and everything. In terms of newer platforms and all of that, yes, Xbox a little bit, but to be honest, and I don't want you guys to hate me, I don't game as much. I will say something, maybe make me more of a nerd, but I do play chess. Actually, I play online chess.
Nice.
I know
that's
it's not
awesome.
Gaming, but it's cool.
That's awesome.
And I'll say,
I think that takes more skill, dude. That takes more skill.
Yeah, it takes more skill.
Yeah. And I've been playing chess before the freaking Queen's Gambit blew up and everybody just kind of jumped on that. So I play online chess, and then again, the rest is just kind of focusing on film stuff and everything. But I also loved Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation, if you remember that, and also the first Resident Evil, or I think one of the first ones, which scared the hell out of me as a kid.
I remember that.
Game. You remember that when you go in and then there was that fucking monster on the ceiling. Anyways,
then back when you went to open a door and it just was the door and it would just
I do like arcades though. I do again. Probably old school. I will always play freaking Mario Kart. Love doing that. Halo.
The game that ruins friendships.
I do. Right. I do like going to when it was open, or Dave and Buster's and shit like that, and they have a lot of video games.
Time Crisis was
Time Crisis.
Oh man,
House of the Dead. All of
Yeah.
that shit. So in that way, I love it. Like I love going there and doing all of that. So yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna like video games, of course. Always. I just don't know it as in depth as you guys do now. I'd say
it's
okay,
a job
man.
sometimes to keep up on it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I'm sure. No.
So, Michael, one of the questions we ask all our guests that have
sure.
always come on, of course, it's in the title, Crashing Game Night. So, what is your favorite game to play, whether it's board game, video game, whatever it is, your favorite game to play for game night when you are able to have game night with family and friends?
I mean, we've talked about it, and I don't mean to beat the dead horse and repeat it, but it really probably is GoldenEye. It is. I mean,
classic.
I mean, it's a classic. Like,
no.
I know it doesn't have the same type of graphics as now, but there's just, I love how many weapons you had. I love the fucking levels. I love the different characters that you could be, and everything. I remember with some of the characters, there was the Odd Job character, and he was super short, so you had to tilt down.
Yeah.
To
That's what I was about to ask you, man. Like,
you had like Jaws, who's super tall. So I just probably that one. I wish that I was more familiarized with some certain games, but that one I'd bring it back to when did it come out? 96, 97, something like that. That's probably the one that I would choose.
because I mean, like, I was about to ask you, do you have?
I got friends that still bring that out once a year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
GoldenEye. It's still
Oh
yeah.
Do you have somebody that plays the Odd Job? Like, they always pick him, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, they make it.
I mean, you can always shout. You can shout them out and be like, "Hey, you know what, man? You always pick him. Like, how dare you, sir? How dare you cheat in this game?"
I don't know which platform it is, and you guys probably know, but I played with a buddy of mine about a year or two ago on this Super Smash Brothers game, but it was with like fucking 50 characters. I don't know which it's not like the original Super Smash Brothers for N64.
So the current Smash Brothers on Switch, Smash Brothers on Switch, Ultimate Smash Brothers has like that 50 characters on it.
And
it was on Switch,
Yeah, and you can play like Ridley from Metroid, and you've got Cloud from Final Fantasy, and it's.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, as I said, they just added Sephiroth to Smash Brothers now, so.
And growing up, I also loved Game Boy, of course, playing Pokemon on Game Boy. You got the red and blue version. I know I'm talking old right now.
Yeah,
it's classic, baby. It's cool, man.
It's classic. Love that. And I had the fucking Game Boy Color and then the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance. So I liked all of that stuff too, and I liked Star Fox in N64 too. Love that game.
Yes,
you remember that?
Oh yeah. That was my second favorite game, next to GoldenEye.
Yeah, those two.
Those are the two.
Amazing. Yep.
Or actually, my second favorite was actually WWF No Mercy.
Hell yes. Okay, so real quick, guys. Real quick. I will also say I don't watch it as much now, but I used to be a huge freaking wrestling nerd. I used to watch wrestling.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
But I was in the 90s. Attitude Era was the best.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching in 98.
Yes.
I started watching in 98 with again, Austin, The Rock, Mankind, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, all of that stuff.
The best years.
Hardy
best
Boys,
years.
Dudley Boys. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
when The Rock was in the Coalition, when he wasn't the People's Champion, he was in the Coalition.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my!
Yeah, you remember that Edge and Christian, all of that.
Edge and Christian. Oh man,
I loved wrestling, and I'll also say something else. You guys should check out this series. It's a documentary series called The Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's this series kind of showing again like the dark side. Like they have this whole episode on Chris Benoit. If you guys are familiar with him, you remember what happened with him.
Oh,
Rabid Wolverine.
But they did one on Macho Man. They did one on all that. And it's just, I'm telling you, 80s and 90s wrestling talk about lawless. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted. They were shooting up backstage. They were doing all stuff. I mean, things are a lot more regulated.
They had no rules. It's completely regulated now.
Completely.
Because
like
it's making more money the moment Vince McMahon said we're going PG. And that he started making more money. Yeah.
Right.
But he also started not losing wrestlers a lot more often too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh god.
Because they're actually being more responsible and more predominant with like health and like going on diets and stuff.
Is it bad? I kind of wish, since we're talking about the Attitude Era and stuff like that, I kind of wish that The Rock, the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, Matt and Jeff Hardy would all show up at the Capitol yesterday, and then we'd get some people's elbows. We get some
some rock bottoms.
Dudley, the Dudley Boys just basically 3D'ing people through tables.
3D'ing everyone would be amazing.
It was that was. I mean, again, I love the 90s.
Let's throw in and talk about like early 2000s. Let's throw in WCW while we're at it, and Goldberg and DDP and all them, and
Goldberg's still wrestling. Goldberg
yes, he is.
And Sting are still wrestling, which is
Sting's over in AEW now.
Yeah, he is. Sting has been wrestling since what, the mid 80s?
Yep,
something like that.
Early
80s.
I saw a clip, that they were showing kind of the old like NWO Wolfpack era and stuff like that from WCW, and there was that when they started messing around with Sting coming back, right? And they had the guy, like they were showing the guy that they thought was just like a fake dress up guy, and he had the Sting mask on and stuff, and he's just sitting there and just pulls the mask, and it's like it's Sting, and that was fun. It was a fun time. We used to watch it more to see how bad the cameramen screwed up. Because they have these spots they have to hit right to make it all look real on TV, right? And we would actually, my buddies would turn it into a drinking game on how bad they would screw up.
No, it's nuts. So, and did you hear random thing? Mick Foley, who Mankind, he actually just tweeted to Vince McMahon to take Donald Trump out of the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm serious. You can look that up.
I forgot he's in the Hall of Fame.
What?
Yeah, because remember it was the billionaires hair for hair match back in like 07 or something, where it was Trump and McMahon, and I guess like as a special celebrity he's in the Hall of Fame, but
oh god,
pretty insane what 10 years or whatever, how much shit can change with that.
Quick jump to the moment I think earlier when Stone Cold stunned him in the ring.
Yep. I remember that.
That was a good day.
So, and Newman brings up when we're talking about this, right? He's like, here comes my age again. And Newman, I'm right there with you. I can remember this, but like Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy, Superfly Snuka,
Jimmy Hart,
George the Animal Steel. It's Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, the whole bit. I mean, Yokozuna, like all of that. I remember Road Warriors. And this is just a really kind of small anecdote, and this isn't to toot my own horn, but it's kind of cool. Actually, a decent amount of wrestlers follow me on Twitter, which is kind of cool. Like, I like that. Like, I thought, like, it
Dude,
was...
you have some of the most random people that I wouldn't expect to follow you.
Oh, Kurt Angle follows me. Paul Heyman follows me. Yeah, no, I'm serious. Lita follows me. One of the best that I just like, fucking Kevin Nash follows me.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, big sexy man.
Yeah.
All of those. So like, it's
wow.
No, I mean, it's
that. Here's the funny, talking about Kevin Nash really quick. He's the reason they don't do the power bomb anymore.
Really?
Because they messed up and didn't do it at the right angle, and somebody got injured. Somebody got really injured from it. So that's why the power bombs aren't really used. And that's why, like, for instance, at Tombstone, that's why you only see the Undertaker doing it and Kane. Because
Owen Hart broke Austin's neck.
Yeah.
What was it? SummerSlam.
It was a pile driver.
Yeah.
Pile driver.
Pile driver. He
Yeah.
did it like this inverted way. He dumped Austin.
He did it the wrong angle. And
right. And Austin, because he's a fucking hard ass, like I think he finished the match. But
He finished the match.
Really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, that's some crazy.
And that's the thing is, as much as we do all know that it's all predetermined, it's all part of the story, right? These guys put their bodies on their line. I mean,
totally.
The physicality is real.
I mean, Owen Hart.
It's real.
You know, Owen Hart died doing a stunt. You know,
it's so sad that
and whatnot. Yeah. So it was, you know.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I'll say one thing, just because again, see, social media can be great in a lot of ways. Probably the highlight, and I screenshotted this with posting positive stuff or asking questions. Everything was, and Matt, I don't know if you saw it. I think I probably posted it, but Stephen fucking King replied to one of my tweets.
I saw that.
Oh, no way!
Wow.
And and it wasn't even like I was tweeting at. He saw it somehow, and he responded to it, and I was like, holy fucking shit. Not only was I nerding out, I mean, again, like I'm a writer myself, or screenwriter. Like this dude has written some of my favorite films, or some of his works got adapted into my favorite films. So I was like, holy fucking shit. Like that's pretty incredible. Yeah. So that is the one positive thing about social media. Technically, if you wanted to, you can reach out to these people or tweet or try to respond to them. A little bit, it's a little bit more accessible. So I guess that's one cool thing, you know.
So so one thing as we close things out, I want to draw some attention to our About Us section on our Twitch page. So the one thing that now that we're affiliate, we've got a lot more things we can do with our page. So I want to let our viewers, listeners know we have started up as part of, we've joined Extra Life, benefiting Children's Miracle Network.
I like this too.
So we do have our donation things going up right now. Our initial goal is $1,000 because everything is kind of set up because of, you know, we have to have it under one person for Extra Life and stuff like that. So as of right now, until we move to Phoenix, the donations are going to benefit the Virginia area Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So VCU hospital and all that. So definitely, you know, if you have it, you know, a couple bucks or whatever, you know, CMN is a great thing because my daughter was in Children's Hospital years ago for a couple of days, and they're amazing facilities. So it's definitely one thing there. And then also too, is we have our fan stories linked right there on our page as well. So if you guys like any of our, you know, becoming a fan and whatnot, you guys want to support the podcast, you know, wear the gear, we've got that right there on the page as well. So Michael, let our listeners know where they can find you on social media.
Well, first of all, this has been awesome. All you guys are great. Like, just again, I could do this for another few hours, but as we wrap up, I mean, we can maybe do a part two.
You are welcome to Crash Game Night
anytime you want to. Please.
You know how to get a hold of me on Twitter and whatnot. And
you just want your nerd out fix, just come join.
Exactly.
Yeah, please
join. No, I appreciate it, guys. And yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's just my full name, Michael Matteo Rossi. You know, I'm pretty active on all of them. Probably active on Twitter the most, to be honest, but Instagram as well, the whole bit. So yeah, just those two, kind of my full name, and you can kind of reach out, say hi. Like I said, I try to give advice when I can, and just try to have people keep positive, even in dark days like yesterday, that things, I mean, look, what we're all doing, what you guys are doing, just is proof positive that we're still being creative, we're still being active, we're still kind of doing what we love and everything. So yeah, those are it. And no, I mean, this has been awesome. Seriously, I've really enjoyed this. You know?
So on my side, you know, absolutely, you know, thank you for coming on. I know it's you and I have been trying to do this for a while now, and just shooting schedule, family, everything was just, there was more things more important than just coming on for a podcast, right?
Yeah.
To our listeners and our viewers, as always, I want to thank you for crashing game night with us tonight. If you like what you heard, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button on the platform that you are listening to us on, whether that is iHeartRadio, Audible, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Or if you're watching us on Twitch, make sure to hit that follow button. That way you get those notifications when we go live. We will be recording, every Thursday night. And also, leave those comments. We have the voicemail piece on our website. You can leave a voicemail, give us your thoughts. As always, guys, and Michael should understand where part of this reference is coming from as I close things out. But I want to say, everyone, be excellent to each other and stay frosty.
Love it. Yeah,
Michael, thank you so much for joining us around the listening sphere. All of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us, and please stay safe, and please continue showing support for Black Lives Matter, and especially for right now. Be safe and just try and promote more kindness out there.
Yeah, definitely. Big old shout out to you, Mike.
Thank you.
It's always welcome back onto the couch anytime. That's why it's there. Get comfortable, get comfy. There's a little indent groove where my butt usually sits. But anyways, guys, definitely just be kind to each other. Be kind. Rewind. When we start opening back up, hopefully, take care of the small businesses for real. I've a lot of us are starting to see a lot of small businesses go down. If you have that opportunity, if they have takeout, order takeout. If they have a small little something,
show some support.
Just show some support, because next thing you know, they're not going to be there, and there's already a couple that I've missed, and I'm like, I can't believe it. Big or small, and show support for the movie theaters too,
yes.
Yeah.
And before we have Theo,
I would love to go back to my weekly movie.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to start writing about movies again, Theo.
There needs to be some movies.
Movie, right. Real quick, Jerry. Newman with his emote says, "Hi, Jerry."
Tell him, oh, what's up, Newman? Thank you for coming and watching.
All right, Theo, send us on out.
Again, Michael, thank you for joining us. It was such a pleasure having you. Everybody watching and listening, thank you. We can't do it without you. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Night, everybody.